Hi, I'm on the couch at Superbooth 19 with the legend that is Dave Smith. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Well, when you talk about synthesis and engineers, would you class yourself as an engineer?
I am an engineer.
He is an engineer. In this day and age, I think definitely you got the first
Yeah, you think?
MIDI,
Yes, that was.
Prophet 600.
Well, Prophet 5 more than Prophet 600.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Prophet 600 was great, but the Prophet 5, of course, was the
one.
big breakthrough. Yeah.
Absolutely. First multi-timbral synth.
6-track, yes.
Software synth.
First software synth, Reality from Seer Systems, 1995, or 96 maybe.
Wow, that's a lot of firsts. And have I missed anything?
Well, there's a lot of firsts that maybe aren't breakthroughs. I mean, every instrument in a way is a first, right?
Of course.
The Prophet X is the first stereo sampled instrument that plays back through stereo analog filters. So that's a first, but it's not like, you know what I mean. You don't want to make everything a major thing. So.
But that's good. It's good to do stuff. Are there any products around? Because you've been around since the 70s, right? Doing stuff. Is there any products around sort of more recent times that have caught your attention?
Well, it's really fun, especially at Superbooth, seeing the modular thing take off. I mean, it's been happening now for a few years, but it just, as somebody who started in the 70s when modulars kind of went away because first the Mini Moog, then the Prophet 5, and then the DX7, then the M1. It's just amazing to see people buying modular systems because they're interested in playing with a modular synth. And to see so many companies doing it and the growth, it's awesome.
I must admit, I think I started looking at modular with Dieter Doepfer's A100 in the 90s. Obviously, that's when I started making electronic music. And from that point onwards, it's just, the form factor's smaller though, I think, than the 60s modulars, which...
Well, that's a good thing. Actually in the 60s or 70s, the 1/8-inch jacks were horribly unreliable. So you had to use 1/4 inch, which, by definition made everything a lot bigger, but now they actually work, and it's much better because you can fit so much more in a smaller space.
So NAMM this year, Prophet X, tell us about what happened there.
Well, we won the Tech Award, which was pretty awesome. Every year we have something that qualifies, but I think that was our third. I think we got one for the Prophet 08 and another one for the Prophet 12. So like every 2 or 3 years we seem to come up with the right formula. And but that was pretty cool because the Tech Awards 10 years ago when we got it for the Prophet 08, it was a much smaller thing. It was actually at the AES show and not at the NAMM show. But lately, now they've built it up ever since they joined with NAMM. This big party and all this stuff. It's trying to make it into a bigger thing, so it feels like a bigger thing.
That's definitely good and well deserved. I mean, we'll definitely have a look at that for this video and get some sound samples for it. And that's really, it's good to see and well deserved actually. Loving also the Prophet 6 in its design, obviously, very. Obviously sequential in its look. So September last year.
The Prophet 5 or 6?
6,
yeah,
yes.
That's been out for 4 years already. I mean, it's hard to believe, and it continues to sell well. Yeah. It's more or less become a standard in the industry for artists because every studio you go to, every place you go, backlining, whatever, there's always a Prophet 6 there. So everybody, even if everybody doesn't own one, everybody knows it, and that's why we keep selling them because people see them, they use them, they borrow them, and then finally they buy one. And we're seeing the same thing with the OB6. It's kind of like two classic keyboards. They're not identical to the older ones, but we took the basic heart and soul and updated it, made them more reliable, comes with a warranty, and it's actually less expensive than buying a Prophet 5. So it gives everybody the best of both worlds, and both of them continue to sell well. Most people gravitate towards one or the other. They play one, they play the other, and which is actually, it's funny. It's just like the late 70s. Back then, everybody was either an Oberheim person or a Prophet person, and we're seeing the same thing now. the best part is a lot of people buy both.
I was going to say, I would buy the Prophet 6 keyboard and the desktop. Exactly what you've got there. That's exactly what I got there. Absolutely.
Yes, and that we're selling a lot more OB6 modules than Prophet 6 modules, I think for that reason. Because people buy the Prophet 6 and then they eventually try the OB6 and they say, oh, I got to have that, and they'll just get the module version.
And I think what I was alluding to with September was obviously using the name Sequential again, changing from Dave Smith Instruments to Sequential, and it on the front in that place is. I'm looking at it, and I can see all of my synths there.
Yeah, it was time. We got the name back from Yamaha 4 years ago, and the timing was just right by coincidence because it was when we were coming out with the Prophet 6. So we said, well, let's use the name of the Prophet 6. But then we didn't do another sequential product in the Prophet X. And during that time, I just, in the last year, I kind of thought, well, I've never really liked the name Dave Smith Instruments.
But you've had that name.
Yeah, well, since 2002.
And the name obviously all your life.
Good point. But when I started Dave Smith Instruments, I didn't have any plan. I didn't know where it was going to lead. And it was just me for 5 years. I had nobody else working with me, so I'll just use this name. And the logo is stupid. It was just a standard font. And it was too long. I mean, I always had, for my email address, dave@davesmithinstruments.com. It was just too long, and I always hated that. So I hated the logo, I hated the sound. But there's another big thing, and that is, unlike when I started, we have a full company now. Well, there's only 14 of us. But the work is not just me. It's, everybody's a synth head in the company. Everybody contributes to everything. So it's unfair to keep using my name when it's a group effort. So it just dawned on me last summer, maybe I should change the name to Sequential. And it brought the history back, because Sequential Circuits, I started that in 1974. So, that's 45 years, whatever, and it kind of felt good.
It's really good to see the name out there. And I've seen the photographs and videos I've seen of the team. They do seem like a really good bunch of guys, and that's, I think, important as well. That you've got a soul to a company that's got a lot of history. So It's fabulous out there. What was it like working with Tom?
Oh, it was very easy to work with Tom. He's, we were basically what we were doing is we took his SEM design and reconfigured it to be completely programmable and then fit into our structure. And then he helped us out, and how would he like to have it look? Well, we could do this or we could do that, and little things like that. But yeah, it was basically a pretty smooth project.
That's really good to hear, because obviously there's two sort of iconic engineers, both with a long history, and obviously you've got your own ways of doing things. So suddenly you're approaching the same project from different angles, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah, it can be tricky. For example, when we did the Tempest with Roger Lynn, it was not quite as smooth because
tempestuous?
Yeah, there we go. Roger and I both have been doing our own thing for so long, and we are very strongly opinioned, and so there were a number of things we had to kind of work out. But generally speaking, he was in charge of the layout and the workflow, and we were in charge of the sound generation, and of course did all the design. So it ended up being an awesome instrument. But yeah, it's not always easy, but the results are awesome.
Absolutely agree. So yeah, we're going to have a look at the Prophet X now. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you and to talk to you, and thank you very much.